everyone, my name is Miranda, and today I'm here to do my August wrap-up, and I still can't get over the fact that summer is over, so bear with me if I just start crying in this video, because really, who is ready for this? So because it was the last month before school started, I really wanted to cram as many books in as possible that I could read before I started school and probably didn't have as much time to read, so that was really my goal, and I did read a ton of books this month, starting with Simon versus the Homo Sapien Agenda, which I've been wanting to read for so long, and I finally got around to reading it. It's basically about this kid who has this pen pal at school that he doesn't know who it is, and they kind of have this like flirtatious crush thing going on, but the problem is he's not really like he knows he's gay, but he hasn't come out. So what happens is someone ends up finding out about the pen pal, they blackmail him into doing what they want, and it's just a really cute, quirky little story that I really liked. I thought it was really cute, and I had been hearing so many great things about it, so it was so refreshing that like a book that I thought was going to be good was actually as good as I was expecting it to be. And I would definitely, if you haven't read it yet, I definitely recommend it because it's really cute and just, it's so sweet, and I loved it. So I gave it 5 out of 5 stars. After that, I read the book that I think pretty much everyone and their family is reading, and that is Harry Potter and the Cursed Child, a new play by John Tiffany and Jack Thorne and part of J.K. Rowling. This is the new Harry Potter book, but it's not exactly Harry Potter because, as you all know, it's a script instead of an actual book. So I was very reluctant to read this. I didn't think I was gonna like it, and after reading it, I do have to say that it doesn't have the feel of Harry Potter to me. Like, it reads more of someone who liked Harry Potter and then wrote Harry Potter fan fiction. I mean, I like seeing everyone 19 years later, but at the same time I felt like a lot of characters were underutilized and some were just made to be not how they were in the book and more so how they were in the movie. So I have 2 whole book talks on this, one spoilery and one non-spoiler, so I'll leave those in the description box for you to check out. But overall, I think I was just pretty disappointed by this book, even though I was expecting it to be disappointing. Like, I don't know, I expected it not to be good and I didn't love it as much, so I ended up giving it 2 out of 5 stars. One thing I really wanted to try and do this month was get through the Miss Peregrine, well, not get through because I want to read it, but read the Miss Peregrine's Home for Peculiar Children series. I had read the first one a while ago, like back in May or something like that, and I finally wanted to try and get around to the next 2, so I picked up Hollow City, which is the sequel. This is the second book in the trilogy, and I was impressed with it for the most part. I mean, Ransom Riggs is a good writer, and it was definitely good storytelling, good character development. I just felt like, unfortunately, it suffered from a somewhat sequel slump where it was like, the sequel just like, it had no point. Like, it was just to get us from book 1 to book 3, this book. So while things happened, nothing really paid off, and I feel like all the payoff is going to come in the final book. So it was just annoying when I'm like almost halfway through this book and I realized like nothing consequential has happened. Like, yes, we've learned stuff, but it's information that we're not going to probably use till the 3rd book. So while I liked it, I just felt like it was kind of a little pointless, and that was annoying for me, but I ended up giving it 4 out of 5 stars. After that, I read an arc for The Lovely Reckless by Cami Garcia, which comes out in October, and this is a book kind of good girl meets bad boy. It's about this girl, Frankie, whose boyfriend was killed in front of her 6 months previous to this book starting, and now, after a drunk driving incident, she is forced to live with her father in the not-so-great part of town, and she kind of gets swept up with this dangerous kid, Marco, who is like the untouchable bad boy and kind of drawn into this world of street racing. It's ultimately a love story. I didn't really like it because I felt like the love story was super insta-lovey. Like, there was no real connection other than like, hey, I thought you were cool and like you drew my attention to you, and like that's fine, but I just am really so over insta-love, and I felt like this love was also used as a way to like make Frankie's character development change. So like, I just wanted Frankie to change herself, not need a guy to change her and make her better. So I don't know. Overall, it was disappointing to me, and I ended up giving it 1 out of 5 stars. And then another disappointing arc for me, unfortunately, was Stealing Snow by Danielle Page, which is the newest book in her new trilogy, which is a kind of retelling of The Snow Queen, which I was super excited to read because how many times do we read a retelling of The Snow Queen? Like, never. So I was super excited. Unfortunately, while reading this book, okay, first of all, my main issue is there are 3 love interests. Like, 3. And it's not even like well-developed love interests. It's just like every single guy in this book just falls in love with her, and I don't get it. Also, it's really a big mix of different YA cliches, which is so super irritating. I saw someone online kind of described it as like an outline for the quintessential YA novel. It's got everything. It's got the love triangle. It's got the brooding guys. It's got the girl who thinks she's ordinary but turns out to be like the special someone prophecy kid in another world. So for me, it was just disappointing. I don't think I'm going to continue on with the series when the next 2 books come out because nothing was well fleshed out enough for me. I didn't root for any of the characters. There wasn't one guy I liked over the other because they were all super boring and super just like one-dimensional waffles. I did not get it at all, and I gave this book 1 out of 5 stars as well. And I was super happy because I finally got around to reading a book I've wanted to read for a very long time, and I'm glad I got to read it before summer ended, and that is The Square Root of Summer by Harriet Rutar Habgood. I don't know how you say her name. I apologize. And this is a really cool YA book because it's about summer, but it's about wormholes. It's this girl, Gotti, whose grandfather passed away about 6 months ago, and now we're getting up to the 1-year anniversary of his death through the summer. So you're going through every day, and she's starting to realize that she's experiencing wormholes. She's going through to times in her past and reliving all the experiences of things, and it's her trying to figure out why and kind of discovering herself this summer, who she is now that her grandfather is gone, now that her friends are all kind of moving on to new places and things. And it was a cute book. I wish it had a little clearer exposition, I guess. Like, I think the like overall goal and like, okay, what was the main climactic moment and then what was the rising action, I feel like that wasn't as well defined as I would have liked it to be, which made it a tad confusing. But at the same time, this book felt so original and so cool. Like, Gotti has such an amazing like personality that even if you don't like her, you can still definitely feel her personality, and that's really great. I ended up giving it 3 out of 5 stars. Next up, I read Uprooted by Naomi Novik, I believe is how you say her name, and this is another book I've been wanting to read for a long time. This is a very fantasy novel, which I don't read too many not YA fantasy novels, and it's about this like land basically where every 10 years the dragon, this man, takes a girl. Starts with everyone thinking that Agnieszka, the main girl's friend, who's super pretty, super smart, super kind, is going to be the one taken because she is super pretty, super smart, super kind. And when the time comes, it's actually not her, it's Agnieszka, I don't know how you say it, who is taken instead. And then the story goes on from there, and it's definitely really fantasy, but it also had really good elements that I liked to it. A good love story, a good main character, so I really liked it, and I gave it 4.5 out of 5 stars. After that, I read a really cute book called A Weekend of Mondays by Jessica Brody, and this one just came out this month, and I hadn't heard too much about it, but I wanted to pick it up when I saw it at the store because it looked so adorably cute. It's about this girl who is having the worst Monday ever, and it culminates with her boyfriend breaking up with her, and then she wishes she could just get the day over again, and when she wakes up the next day, her wish has been granted, and it is Monday again, and proceeds to be Monday for the next 7 days. So it's about her trying to figure out how to get her boyfriend not to break up with her and how to end up having the perfect Monday, and along the way she realizes that perhaps what she thought was the perfect Monday really isn't, and it's really cute. It has a really sweet love story as well, and it was just really light and fluffy and summery, and I highly recommend it. It's one of my new favorites, and I gave it 5 out of 5 stars. And after that, I got to read an arc that I think you guys might have heard of it. I mean, it's by a pretty up-and-coming author, you know, and that is Heartless by Marissa Meyer. Honestly, I'm still freaking out by the fact that I got to read this. This is an Alice in Wonderland prequel about the Queen of Hearts that Marissa Meyer wrote, and this is before the Queen of Hearts became the Queen of Hearts, you know, with the chopping off everyone's heads. She's just a girl named Catherine who wants to bake and wants to fall in love, but unfortunately the society she is forced in does not agree with the things she wants to do and just wants her to be a pretty little dancing thing that marries the king. This book was heartbreaking. I bawled my eyes out, I will tell you. I don't want to give too much away because it doesn't come out till November, but it's such a good villain origin story because that's really what it is, a villain origin story. And I cried, I smiled, I laughed, and then I sobbed some more through the book when it was done because I was so completely, like, I went through such a journey on this book, and I ended up giving it 5 out of 5 stars, and I think you all will definitely love it when it comes out in November, so definitely be on the lookout for that. Then after that, I finally got around to reading An Ember in Ashes by Saba Tahir, and this is another fantasy novel, but this is YA, but it felt more fantasy somehow than Uprooted in a way. Like, it felt like Game of Thrones, like, lives are at stake, things are happening, girls are being attacked, which I really hated how much the girls were like used as kind of like violence against women. I was like, this is kind of an old trope, but whatever. But it's about this really awesome world. Well, it's not awesome. I mean, it's awesomely developed, but not an awesome world that you would want to live in. We have two stories. One is Laia, who is a slave in the country, and one is Elias, who is a soldier in the country. And their kind of stories just go in trajectories and then eventually meet. And for me, I really liked Elias' story. That's what had me keep coming back. Laia's, on the other hand, I wasn't as invested in. I feel like she went through some growth that was kind of too fast for me to really believe it, but Elias was really, really cool, and I really like how it all came together at the end, and I'm excited to read the second book. I definitely have it on my to-read list for September, not November. So it has like 2 mini love triangles in it as well, which I really, really hate, because like, what's better than 1 love triangle? Oh yeah, I know, we'll throw 2 in, and I'm just like, but I ended up giving it 4 out of 5 stars. Definitely, really, if you enjoy fantasy, this is a high fantasy book, so I would really, really recommend it. And then lastly this month, I read A Man Called Ov by Frederick Bachman, and this is one everyone has been talking about, and this book is literally about a man called Ov. He's a grumpy old man whose wife passed away 6 months previously, and now he's trying to kill himself so he can be with her, but all that quickly derails when this new family moves in across from him and backs their trailer into his mailbox accidentally and just completely takes over his life and changes the way he's looking at things. And it was a really, really cute story. I mean, the whole message is basically like, just because your person and like your reason to live is gone doesn't mean that you can't find a new one, which I really, really liked. Ov was such a funny and like, I don't know, he was such a cool character because like you could literally picture him, and I was laughing reading it, and I really want to see the movie. There's a movie they made in Sweden, I believe, so I want to find one with English subtitles because I think it would be really cool. But I really recommend this one, and I'm excited to read more of his books in the next month or 2, hopefully. Alright, so there you have it. Those are all the books I read for August. I did try and read as many as I possibly could, like I said, so if you read any of these books or are planning on reading them, please feel free to leave a comment down below. Also leave down below what books you read this month, because I'm so interested in what I should be reading for September and October, you know. So thank you guys all so much for watching. Make sure to give this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it, and subscribe to my channel down below to be told when I make all sorts of new videos, and I will see you guys next time. Bye!